Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and your local witch next door, and today I'm talking about tarot and sex magic. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. Thanks so much for those of you who were able to attend my virtual tarot card creation event recently. If you signed up but were unable to make it, you should have the replay of the event recording, the PDF I made with my step-by-step process, and an offer to join my upcoming series called Tarot for Transformation, so check your emails for that. If you weren't able to attend live or didn't register in time, you can go ahead and get the full hour-long recording with my step-by-step method, examples of the tarot cards I've created, journaling questions, and PDF to walk you through it for just $33. You can click here to purchase now. The link will be in the show notes. I'm going to be offering a 12-week Tarot for Transformation live course this summer, so if you're interested, there's also a link to sign up for more information as well in the show notes. I will also be doing my last episode of this season for the podcast will be sort of an overview of what Tarot for Transformation course is going to look like, what to expect, and sort of, a bit of our agenda and how to use tarot for transformation, so that will be fun. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. I just updated the Patreon benefits to be bigger and better than ever, so every new moon I will be hosting live episodes to do a new moon collective tarot reading. If you join the lovers of the podcast level on the Patreon, you'll get access to an exclusive Discord to chat with me live during the stream, and I'll pull a card for each one of my patrons in addition to the New Moon Collective spread. So if you want an individual card pulled for you once a month live on the podcast, join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family at the lovers level. If you'd like to support the podcast even further, you can get a one-time individual 5-card reading in addition to all the other benefits if you join the Witch Bitch level on the Patreon. If you're local to the greater Puget Sound area, check out my Let's Talk Tarot meetup group for the latest event postings. I am doing a full moon women's circle local event on July 10th at 7 p.m. So I'll have the sign up for that in the show notes as well. If you're interested in my free PDF with the 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for this community at the beginning of this year, you can get that by joining my newsletter list. My weekly newsletter always has the most up-to-date information on upcoming events, presentations, musings, and more. And if you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationships therapist, seeing clients virtually all over Washington state. If you'd like to work with a therapist that doesn't judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. You can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. All right, so we are in season 10 now, where I'm talking all about tarot and witchcraft. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you can check those out. I've talked tarot basics, I've gone through all the major arcana cards, I've talked tarot and pop culture, and went through 13 common tarot spreads, and I've also gone through all of the suit of wands, pentacles, swords, and cups, so I have an episode about every single card in the 78 card traditional tarot deck. So if you're ever looking for a specific card, the easiest way is probably to go to my website under the podcast tab and use the search bar at the top to search for the card that you're looking for, and the episode will pop up there and you're able to find it. So like I said, we are now in season 10, where I'm talking all about tarot and witchcraft, and today I'm talking about tarot and sex magic. So I'm going to do an intro to sex magic, we're going to talk resources, and then we're going to go through a tarot spread that's related to that. So the first resource I'm talking about is Sacred Sex, the book by Gabriela Herstik, The Magic and Path of the Divine Erotic. Gabriela Herstik is also the one that has created the Goddess of Love tarot deck that I like to use. We're probably going to use that for the tarot spread. But yeah, I figured I would read a bit of an introduction to what sex magic is from her book. We're in chapter 3. We're talking about the power of sex magic, and then she also has a tarot spread that we're going to do as well that you can do at home. So it says sex magic is a way of changing the material world through use of sexual energy, which cultivated in the physical and etheric body and channeled for a desired purpose or intention. Sex magic equals intention plus sexual energy plus action. It is a path of the erotic as a means of changing reality, and this can be done solo, with a partner, or with multiple partners. It is focused inward because the body becomes the wand or the magical instrument that directs the will of the individual into the cosmos for manifestation. It is only after your focus has gone inward to circulating energy, to being present in pleasure and sensation, to connecting with the self or beloved, that you can turn your energy outward to cause real change. Sex magic may be practiced for the intention of knowing, cultivating, and expressing your sexuality in a more authentic way as well. It doesn't always have to be about manifesting. In his book, Modern Sex Magic, Daniel Michael Craig defines sex magic as an ancient Western system which sees the physical and non-physical as an interweaving continuum. Gabriela says, I like this definition because of the way it explains the physical and non-physical, which are both key components to sex magic as well as sacred sexuality. So you have the physical, like the flesh, the genitals acts as a portal to the non-physical, the etheric body, energy, the heart, the soul, and when these two aspects of self are worked in union, we have magic. One of the reasons sex magic is so powerful is because of the potency of orgasm, and she says, I want to note that those who live with anorgasmia can still practice sex magic even if orgasm is impossible. Orgasms open the gateway to the numinous. There's a reason the French call them le petit mort, or the little death. The mysteries of sex and death are one and the same. At the moment of climax, the rational mind becomes non-existent, as if the gateway has opened to pure consciousness. It is in this moment, when paired with an intention or desire, that makes sex magic so powerful. Sex magic isn't just one practice or method, but a range of techniques that utilize sexual energy as a means of transformation. And while sex magic is part of sacred sexuality, it is only one path. Sex magicians and sex witches may have a sacred view of sex, or they may not. They may see it as deserving of reverence, or just see it as another tool in their practice. You don't have to practice sex magic to live a life devoted to sacred sexuality, but she says if you're anything like me, these two aspects of the self are intertwined. You can practice sex magic for an infinite number of reasons, just as you can practice magic for an infinite number of reasons. So here are just a few, and we'll have a list here. So it says people practice sex magic to manifest a desired intention, like money, a new job, more sex, more partners, a new home. To banish something like shame, external influences, bad habits, or patterns. To connect with the divine, to better know and engage with the etheric or subtle body, better know and engage with their sexual energy and self, to find more confidence and comfort in their erotic selves, to raise sexual energy as a form of ritual, prayer, or offering, to change or consecrate a talisman or amulet, to connect with energetic beings such as goddesses or gods, animal spirits, demons, or angels, to initiate themselves in a specific path of mysteries, to call something forth like creativity, inspiration, pleasure, or ecstasy, or to send up a devotion to themselves, a deity, a path, or practice. All right, so that's going to be where I sort of stop as just sort of like an introduction to sex magic. If you listen to this episode and you're like, I want to know more, you can always grab Gabriela Herstik's book, Sacred Sex, that I'm, read from today, and also that we're going to do a tarot spread from. I also have the book Modern Sex Magic by Donald Michael Craig, so that's another good resource. And I also have another book, Urban Tantra by Barbara Carellas, and all of those are going to be linked in the show notes if you want to check any of those out. Gabriela Herstik at the end of the Sacred Sex book also has a lot of resources and people that she talked with and did interviews with listed in the back of the book. So those are also folks you can check out if you're interested. All right, so let's get into So like I said, that was kind of the resources. Let's get into the tarot spread. So for this tarot spread, she has a lot in this book, but this one in particular is for finding your path of sacred sexuality, and I thought that would be kind of fun. So we're going to have a 5-card pull, and then you can kind of, see what comes of that. See if you want to sort of start to get into sex magic, or maybe you're into it, but you want to kind of think about what path you want to go down, or what archetype of using the tarot you might want to embody. This tarot card spread will be a good way to do that. So I'll intro the spread through a little bit of reading, and then we'll get into it. So it says, use the spread to uncover where you can place your focus, and then use the following examples of energetic paths to see what feels right and what doesn't. This doesn't mean your path will be exactly as the cards laid out. Rather, they will offer you a perspective into your subconscious needs and desires. Spend time journaling whatever it is you pull, meditating on the results, or creating art around it. As always, I invite you to turn your tarot pulls into a ritual. As you feel ready, shuffle the cards as you focus on your question, which may be specific or just which path of sacred sex is right for me. Cut your deck if it's in your practice, pull your cards and interpret, and when you're done, record your results in your grimoire or notebook, taking the time to journal and explore. So, I'll kick you off today with the spread. You can do it on your own, and I'll share what I pull. And then again, if you kind of want more info, her book is a great resource. It goes into some of these different kind of like archetypes of the sacred sex path, and is really a good like handbook on sacred sex. All right, so let's see. Like I said, this will be a 5-card pull, so I'm going to grab my deck, and I am going to use Gabriela Herstik's deck, the Goddess of Love deck, with images by Snakes for Hair, as they're known on Instagram, or Julia Popescu. Just because I feel like that's all aligned with this deck. It's also like a sex magic deck to some extent. Not all of the cards talk about that, but a lot of them do, and that is kind of the framing of that deck. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. You can grab your deck, and we'll get started. All right, and again, like I said, this is the Goddess of Love Tarot, a book and deck for embodying the erotic divine feminine by Gabriela Herstik and illustrated by Julia Popescu, who is also known as Snakes for Hair. You can find them on Instagram and some of their art. If you ever see my podcast posts on Instagram, I always tag the tarot artists when possible. So you can find, for this episode, you can go on there and find Gabriela Herstik as well as Julia Popescu and their Instagram work as well, if you'd like to follow them some more. All right, so I'm gonna shuffle probably 3 times, and then we'll get started. I don't think there's any particular what was I trying to say? Image that we're trying to create with the spread. That's a 5-card spread, but I'll probably just lay them out horizontally in a row, because there's not a particular image that we're trying to create or symbol with the cards. These are very well used cards that I have, so they shuffle very nicely. Okay, one more time. All right, so our first card is going to be, so you can think about your intention, which again can be a question, or it can just be, what path of sacred sex is right for me, which is probably what I'm gonna just sort of think about as I do this. I've cut my deck, I'm gonna pull my cards, and we're gonna interpret. So card 1 is about what's my inspiration for my path of sacred sex, and I'm going ahead and pull a card. I, interestingly, pulled the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my book and see what that is about. I don't totally know. Pentacles, again, are an earth sign, so you're going to have that like sort of grounded energy, but of course it is in reverse, and 5s are kind of like challenging, conflict, tension. So let's see here. Okay, so I'm just going to read the reversal and then maybe I'll pull some things from the upright. And again, the question was, what's my inspiration for my path of sacred sex? So it says, when reversed, this is a card of solace that can lead you deeper into the mysteries of the heart. Although the pain and isolation are real, you're on the path to healing. Okay, so the Five of Pentacles upright is a card of pain, sorrow, and loss, but it can be validating because what you're going through sucks, basically is what they say. Although it may feel lonely, remember you're not alone and that you're so close to getting the support you deserve. It can be a heartbreak, a relationship, job, or living situation that once brought you comfort is now bringing you pain. But the card also represents an inner knowing to keep going, to move through discomfort, to find the places of light that can support your renewal. Find ways to self-soothe, find asylum and retreat, and faith in the practices and activities that nourish and nurture you. Your heart and the goddess will guide you. All right, so it sounds like, again, reverse, this is about sort of following the mysteries of the heart. We've kind of, right, it's telling me you've been through some of the pain and isolation. That's really hard, and you're on your path to healing, which sounds good to me, on my path to healing. All right, let's pull our second card, which is where in myself can I connect to this? All right, and I pulled the Eight of Swords reversed. We're going all reversals all the time. Okay, so swords are an air sign, so intellect, overthinking often, anxiety. The Eight of Swords here depicts like a snake, and there's swords kind of around it, transposed on top of it. We see like diamonds and rubies and a skull. And it is in reverse. So in reverse, it says the card means clarity is coming with the end of a period of helplessness. You've assessed the situation and chosen to act something new, or at the very least, you are no longer blind to the truth. And it says the affirmation is, I see the truth with honesty. I open my heart to rebirth. So it says, where in myself can I connect to this? It sounds like with honesty, right? I'm working towards something new, that there's some clarity coming in, that at least I'm starting to see, I'm not blind to the truth anymore, right? And I sort of have an idea of what this is about. All right, let's pull our third card. I pulled the Four of Swords upright. And this, for our third question, is how can I begin exploring this unique path? Okay, so the Four of Swords says the swords peel back perception to reveal the truth. This can be daunting and scary. And if you don't take the time to listen, then you are faced with the power of the blade. Get your ducks in order and meditate on what you want before a big battle. This integration, this stillness, seems to go against the phallic and action-oriented nature of this suit, but taking time to slow down and listen is critical. In the territory of the heart, it's key to listen to your body. But if your mind is racing, if the old patterns keep surfacing, if anxiety or obsession takes the forefront, then it's not as easy to be in the flesh. Lean into the practices that calm and soothe your mind. Breathwork, journaling, affirmations, and most of all, meditation. So the affirmation associated with this card is I rest and integrate the lessons of my heart. And the journal question is, what is this moment of pause teaching me about what I'm moving through? All right, and again, that question for 3 was how can I begin exploring this unique path? It sounds like by being embodied, by using somatic practices, calming, soothing my mind with breath work, journaling, affirmations, and meditation, right? And that for me, which I definitely relate to, right, that I can sort of easily fall into this mind racing, anxiety, obsession, right? And that really takes me out of my body. So, right, this is calling me to no, okay, right, we're gonna be restful and have solitude. We're gonna integrate the stillness. We're going to slow down and listen. All right, so for card 4, the question is, what do I need to keep in mind as I do so? All right, and with this, I pulled the Crone of Cups, which is like the King of Cups, but in reverse. Let's see here. And this again is, what do I need to keep in mind as I do so? It says, when the Crone of Cups shows up reversed, listen to what your heart is saying. You may be too caught up in fantasy or nostalgia to see the truth of the situation at hand. And this is what I need to keep in mind. So the affirmation is, I trust in the lived experiences of my heart to guide me towards my purpose and the goddess. And the journal question is, what is the Crone of Cups trying to teach me about love in this moment? And the Crone of Cups is associated with fire of water. So again, cups are a water sign, and the king or the crone is generally this fire association. And so there is this sort of like legacy, ancestry, family, generally associated with the king or of crone, the holder of the lineage. And so, right, when this shows up reversed, like it did for me, it says, right, this is to listen to what your heart is saying. You may be too caught up in fantasy or nostalgia to see the truth of the situation at hand. All right, and finally, for card 5, our question is, what theme or message can I carry with me? All right, and we have the Crone of Pentacles. So strong cards today, making their self known. Pentacles towards the back here. This is the last card in this deck description book. So the Crone of Pentacles, again, this would be the King of Pentacles equivalent. They are associated with fire of earth. Again, Pentacles are the earth sign, and kings have fire. So we have fire of earth. So that would be like lava, right? Or what else would be like that? Yeah, sort of like magma, lava flows would be, right, the fire of the earth. So it says the Crone of Pentacles is a living ancestress with the experience and wisdom that allows her to ground through mind and body to make whatever decisions need to be made. She's the teacher, the guide, the mentor, the high priestess, or the circle keeper who leads you into the secrets of the witch. She reflects the wisdom of the wild buried within flesh, bone, and body. It's time to release outdated structures and logical thinking and step into her sensual waters. Claim the identity of the wise woman for yourself. She knows the language of the earth and its plants and spirits, the power of the body, and the wisdom that comes from intuition. So the affirmation with this card says, I trust my magic, I trust my wild nature, and I trust the wisdom and pleasure of my body. And the journal question for this card says, how is the Crone of Pentacles reflecting my need to root into the magic of my body as well as the magic of nature? Because again, Pentacles are earth sign, so we're all about being grounded, right? About connecting with the outside world, the material world. On this card are flowers, some gems. It's in like a very cathedral, like church looking environment. So we have this sort of like resonance of like heaven on earth or divinity in our everyday space. What else? And then we have this image of sort of like ultimate mother goddess that sort of shows up here. So again, yeah, what the theme or message that I can carry with me is, right, sort of internalizing this like earth mother, right, or high priestess sort of archetype, and right, using that to bring forward, to teach others, to right, be really embodied in myself, to connect with the earth, again, through plants, through water, through fire, through all these different elements, and to be in my body, right? That's another thing that it's telling me here. All right, so yeah, there was our 5-card tarot spread. I hope that that was helpful to you as well. I was going to look in the book real quick to see if there was anything else related to the spread here. Let's see. Yeah, not so much. So this again can kind of just be this kickoff to your journey of where to place your focus. You can think about again what archetype, maybe, right? Like for me, I'm going to be thinking about the Crone of Pentacles as the archetype to embody, right? It's telling, the spread is telling me, right, that right now I'm sort of not as much in my body. I have been very much in my mind with the Swords cards, right? That I have this sort of challenge that to keep in mind about my emotions and being connected to them, and then that ultimately the theme or message to carry with me is to embody this King or Crone of Pentacles, right? That like this ultimate, again, like Earth Mother, Mother Nature, connecting to self and body is the way to do it, and that is sort of my path that is calling me towards. All right, so yeah, I hope that was insightful to you and gave you a sort of an intro to sex magic. Like I said, you can check out the book Sacred Sex by Gabriela Herstik if you want more. This whole book is about sacred sex. All right, so I'm gonna pull these cards to the side here, make sure I keep them in order, and then we're gonna pull a card about to see, you know, see if the cards have anything else to remind us of today. I'm going to be pulling from the Anima Mundi deck by Megan Weirer-Wenden, who is also known as the Creeping Moon on Instagram, if you want to find them there. I'm going to give it a quick shuffle and then we'll pull a card. All right, I pulled the Page of Wands in reverse, which on this card looks like a salamander, I think. It will tell me when I find the card itself. Wands, okay. Yeah, a spotted salamander. It says, the Page of Wands, like the Fool, has a fresh yet passionate outlook on life. Drawing this card indicates that you have a creative spark in you, so go ahead, be spontaneous, follow your creative muse. So upright, it's about exploration, enthusiasm, discovery, and creativity. And in reverse, it's about pessimism, having a lack of direction, a lack of success, or immaturity. So again, we're sort of riding this line of like childhood enthusiasm and creativity, and then right, maybe right now we're sitting in a place of lack of direction or having some pessimism. I know I've been feeling a little like physically not very good, so I've been sort of pessimistic about like, oh, I have all this stuff to do, oh, I have things to do, and I'm not going to be feeling very good. And so yeah, this card's telling us, right, like, okay, let's look at this as like an opportunity. Let's have a creative spark as we go forward, right? Be spontaneous. Don't get bogged down in this like, oh, I have to do it, right? There are these fun things that we get to do, and if you really don't want to do them, cancel, right? Like that's another maybe offering of this card, or feeling like, okay, if you don't totally know where to go right now, that's okay, but let's figure out how to find that out, again, to explore, to discover, be creative, and that type of thing. All right, so links for the tarot decks I talk about will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. You can email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com, with your thoughts, questions, and more. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.